to my channel for another Plan With Me video. Today, of course, we are planning for October, and I had this whole idea and a whole layout for the cover page already planned out in my head, and I was sketching it, and then I remembered I have these washi tapes that I was planning on using this month, so the whole plan changed. I ended up erasing the entire calendar, but I left the box at the bottom because that is for my trackers. Then I measured out where I wanted my washi tape to be and selected the right month. Then I also am going to be using all of these papers this month. This is actually the base of the theme. This is a vintage paper and peach theme. You'll see how the peach comes in later. But I just went through and I picked out some of the more orange and yellow and basically just not cold colored papers. And then I also flipped through these little miniature paper books. They have vellum paper in the very back, and then they have a lot of regular paper, so I just picked some of both. And then another thing that I wanted to show you guys was these new pens that I got. They are called curve pens, and you can like roll them across the page and it makes a continuous pattern, and those are super cool. I'm going to use this one as the flowers later, but they do come in an 8-pack. And here I am just laying out without taping some of the papers to see what layout I like and what arrangement I like. And that washi tape that has the calendar is also just lightly stuck down so I can move it. And then I just start taping, and I use a glue tape dispenser because it's a lot cleaner than using actual glue. And I just kind of place the things wherever I think they will look good and trim edges that stick off the page. These super thin washi tapes are some more that I got off of Amazon recently, and I really like using them. There's a lot of colors and patterns. Some of them don't stick super well though, so instead of sticking them to the page and then tearing the extra off, you have to actually cut it, which is fine. You'll see later that I struggled a little bit though. Now I'm just lettering October loosely in pencil, and then I'm using the soft tip Tombow Funosuke to write October and 2022. For the peach in this theme, I have 4 different markers that I'm using. I have 2 Crayola Super Tips that I'm using for this tracker here, and they're supposed to be different colors, but to me they look really similar, so I started just using them interchangeably. And I am just using them to outline the box here for my trackers, and then I used the small Faber-Castell to write the numbers in a moment, and the medium to outline the box in black. Here you can see I messed up a little bit because I had measured the box based on September, but September has one less day than October does, so I had to go back and figure out the spacing. So I wrote from 1 to 14 and then backwards from 31 to make sure that it lined up right. And then here I am using a very light yellowish tan Tombow to write the days of the month above the dates, and then also to put the dividing line between Saturday and Sunday. And if you want to know more about that tracker, there will be a little card up above that you can click on to see where I got my inspiration for that tracker. I use the checkbox washi tape to make calendar shapes, and you can actually write on this washi tape, so I will just be able to check the box. And I also use different colored markers to make drop shadows, and I kind of accidentally did it in a gradient, so that ended up being pretty cool. And then here I'm just looking on Pinterest for a fall quote. I found one that says, "Hello September, thanks for the reminder that change can be beautiful," but I changed it a little bit because, for one thing, obviously it's not September anymore, but also I feel like that can be said of all of fall, so I changed it to "Fall reminds us that change can be beautiful." And I made change be the word that stands out by writing it with a Crayola Super Tip and making it a thin all caps font instead of being cursive like the rest. I also switched pens here a few times. Beautiful was written with the soft tip Funosuke, and then I used the hard tip to thicken up some of the downstrokes, and all of the rest of the cursive was using the hard tip. And then I added in some more colors and drop shadows on the lettering with a Tombow, as well as adding some black lines in the center of change with the small tip Faber-Castell. Here I just went back and added a little bit more decoration, including using that line pen, and then adding some more washi tapes, and just kind of making all of the colors come together and filling in any space that didn't feel as papery or as decorated as the rest of the pages. Now we are just going to jump right into the first weekly spread. I lightly divided the pages into quarters using my pencil, and then I'm just adding some paper decorations. As you guys know, I often will just leave the weeklies blank and fill them in as I feel like, but for these last 3 months of the year, there was exactly enough space in my notebook to fit the 3 months, so I already have measured out their space for their weeklies, so I figured I would just set up the weeklies in this video as well. These washi tapes that have the days of the weeks on them are included in the set that has the monthly calendar, and you may have seen earlier as well, there's also a roll that has the month's name that I ended up deciding not to use. So here again, I'm just using washi tape and paper and markers to put dividers and add some decorations, and the checkbox washi tape to put some task lists on some days. I didn't do this on all the days, because I don't usually put a ton of task-related things in my bullet journal, but some days it is helpful to be able to just write down whatever's in my mind of I really need to get this done, or just personal things that I want to get done, like certain reading goals and things like that. I also then put some to-do and important sections that just have lines, and then I can either just actually write down tasks there, or I can just use it as a little space for notes. I wanted to put another quote in the top left corner here, so I again went to Pinterest, and I found one that says, "Grateful for the little things, the big things, and everything in between," and I thought that was a really great reminder, so I penciled it out before writing it with the hardtip Tombow, and I really like the way that this turned out, and I added a little extra color in just a second, but I really loved the fonts that I used here, and also I just thought this quote was so great. I added a little decoration next to Tuesday as part of the divider, and then I ended up not liking it, so I tried to kind of blend it out a little bit with that light colored Tombow, and that didn't work too well, so I ended up covering it in washi tape, so now there's just a little collection of washi tape there. Moving on to the next weekly spread, I decided to do a horizontal spread this month instead, and I also made it offset, so the first week there is space, which I forgot to do while I was filming this, but at the top of the left page there's space to write in what week number it is, and then I just tore up this sheet of paper that had Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday written on it, and I'm using that for the headers of all the days, and then I'm just using markers to create the dividers and adding some extra paper scraps. And the lower part of that paper that didn't have the days of the week on it, I am using on the right hand side to put in the other weekly titles, which I'll just write using different markers. This is where I had some issues with the washi tape because I kept trying to tear it, and tearing it wasn't working, so I had to get my little scissors out. And then I just used the Crayolas to write Sunday and Saturday, and then a Tombow to write Thursday and Friday in some different fonts. And I used the curve pen to make a little divider next to Friday, which I thought turned out really cute, and I wasn't sure if I would like it or not, but I ended up liking it a lot. For this weekly, I basically tried to make sure that the dividers of each of the days didn't look the same as the one next to it, to kind of go with the random paper scrap look. So you'll see that I used the Crayola for some, and a Tombow for some, and I believe it was the Faber-Castell for the thin black lines, just to make it all look a little bit different and not to be the exact same. And this page actually might be one of my favorites from this spread. Even though it's very simple, I just think it turned out really cute, and I really enjoyed the look of it, and I'm so excited to use all of these spreads. Here in the bottom right, I am just putting a little section for gratitude or notes for the week, and then I moved along to the next spread. This paper that I tore up, I am actually putting the other half of the paper on the next page because it has a shopping list, so I already have something in mind for that. And then I added this big section for Sunday because I am going to hopefully just spend some time writing that day and just have a little bit of time to journal, so I put the whole paper in, and then I put in this random collection of scraps in the bottom right to kind of mirror and contrast how the top left has a lot of paper, and the one on the bottom right is going to be for quotes. So I just added in different papers and washi tapes and textures just to kind of fill that whole section, but with multiple items. I believe earlier I said this was going to be for a quote. It's actually for a little gratitude section, so it's going to be blank until the actual week of. I wanted to keep including those day name washi tapes, but without using them in every single spread or using them for every week, so I just added a couple in here, and then I added a drop shout out to Tuesday. And I'm also using my Tombow Funosuke hard tip to write in some of the other days of the week, and I alternated between all caps and some cursives. I also added in some more checkbox trackers for task lists, and I drew some lines here because I covered all the lines in my notebook, so I had to add some back in. And most of this page is just watching me decorating. That's what a lot of the rest of the video is actually. So for the most part, you're just going to be hearing some music, and I'm not going to be explaining as much now because I'm basically just continuing to do the same thing that I've been doing in the earlier part of the video. Sorry about all of the lighting changes in this video. I was sitting by a window and our weather that day was pretty weird. It went from sunny to raining like 5 times that day, so the lighting kept changing. This week we have plans for Friday and Saturday, so I sectioned off that bottom right corner to be used for both of those days, and I just divided it using some paper and Crayolas. Then the rest of the week, the days are going to be a mix of horizontal and vertical layouts, which I am starting just using some washi tape and papers. So this sheet of paper that I was just taping down was supposed to be like a tab from a family grocery store, and when I saw it, I thought it would be a great thing to put in this week because we have a lot of groceries that we're going to be getting that week because we are planning a little get-together with some friends and family. So I thought it would be cool to put this in where I can actually write some of my grocery list on there if I don't have my phone with me when I think of something to get. Then I'm just using whatever washi tapes were left over from the previous spread to use those for the title of the day. So I think it's only like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I think maybe. So you'll see I'm just again using washi tapes and markers to create the dividers for the day of the week. Here is the final flip through for October. I really enjoyed this vintage paper and peach theme, and I hope you guys did as well. If you had a favorite section, go ahead and let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys liked best. I I also wanted to let you know that I now have an email subscriber list which you can sign up for at the link in the description box, and all new subscribers will get a 10% off discount code for my entire website, squeakysketches.com. So go ahead and sign up below. There's a link in the description box, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.